Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another session with the Older Man. Today, my friends, we're going to go into the lesson of why is it that men have to move at the pace of a woman's emotion. And this is something that I've always recognized, especially when we are in discussion and a woman gets emotional. We tend to shut down as men. And this is a discussion that I had with my wife. And I can be very hard when it comes to these things because I realize that women use their emotion as a manipulation tool. Give you an example. I'm having a real hard discussion with my wife and we're arguing and she starts to cry. And I am very ruthless when it comes to that. In the beginning, I used to let it slide. But as I got older and realized that she was using this technique to get me to shut down, to let go my guard and not discuss it anymore or to move the direction into her emotions, I realized that it kept frustrating me because nothing was resolved. And I always try to explain it to her that, listen, just because you're getting emotional doesn't mean that I'm going to just be soft on you. You need to stop that shit, right? Now I realize that my daughters use the same technique and I would shut them down really hard because this manipulation by using their emotions to get away with things, I am making them know that I'm not going to tolerate it. Listen, I live in a house with 3 women. I grew up in a house with 5 sisters and a mother. When me and my father were surrounded by a lot of this feminine energy, we had to hold our own. So this lesson today, gentlemen, is for you to understand that if you don't want to get manipulated by one of women's favorite techniques, and one of her most amazing weapons is her emotion. When a woman starts to slide the discussion from the actual point to her emotional feelings, shut it down quickly. The minute she comes with the emotions, just shut it down. Keep the conversation on track. Now, it just so happened I came across this video by a gentleman who's fast becoming one of my favorite content creators, Mr. Alexander Grace. He just highlighted it perfectly. So we're going to get into that video today, my friends. Listen, like this video. Gentlemen, please listen to this one carefully because I'm telling you that this one is going to help you in a lot of your relationships. So guys, like the video, please. Hit the subscription button if you haven't subscribed already. Of course, join us over on the membership site. And, of course, support this channel in any way, shape, or form by going into the description channel and see if there's anything there that you can benefit from, whether it's from editing to equipment. Yes, I got everything there on the affiliate links. And by all means, my friends, pick up my Content Creators Toolkit. All right, so let's get into Alexander Grace's amazing video because, brother, you broke this down beautifully, man. I couldn't have done this any better.
We're women in America. We have the highest maternal mortality rate among all developed countries.
That's because the United States has the highest percentage of maternal obesity in the world. According to the CDC, 33% of pregnancy-related deaths are due to cardiovascular conditions. It's because of their lifestyle, not because the U.S. is sexist or whatever. Next.
We're women in America. Doctors can legally perform pelvic exams on us while we're under anesthesia without our consent.
Hospitals must obtain written consent for pelvic and similar exams, the federal government says. Next.
We're women in America. We're told our life's purpose is to bear children, but there's no social supports when we do.
No social support systems when you bear children in America? Next.
We are women in America. We know that abortion is healthcare.
All of the early feminists like Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Margaret Sanger, Victoria Woodhull, Alice Paul, they all agreed that abortion was wrong and said things such as, if it is degrading to treat a woman as property, it is no better for a woman to treat her own child as property. Dang. Well, next.
You know, this sort of thing is very safe to do anonymously on the internet. You're wrong, next, then you move on. But conversations with women in real life are never that simple. You can't just say you're wrong, provide the evidence, and move on to the next point. You can't continue because the conversation stops because the woman starts to cry. Proving her wrong doesn't resolve the disagreement. She just starts a new conversation about how much of an asshole you are. Suddenly, that's what you're talking about, and you can't make any more progress on the original topic. You might be in a hurry, like, let's get to the facts, let's sort this out. But we have an unspoken rule in our culture, which is that conversations can only move at the pace of a woman's emotions. And if what you're saying makes her upset, then you, by default, are a bad person. You are mean. If you want to get your point across, it is not enough to simply be correct. For a woman to get on board, you need to emotionally comfort her, help her, and support her to come to terms with the truth.
You see, gentlemen, this is what I'm talking about. This is what happens on all of these podcasts that we see, where the woman gets emotional and then she calls you misogynist. This is where Mr. Samuel says shame, insult, guilt, and the absolute need to be right. Sign language is what women use. These are all emotional tools, okay? So when she sees that she's not winning the argument based on logic and facts, she will then move into one of these 4 weapons in order to steer you away from the fact and put you in an emotional state. This is the same techniques your wife or your girlfriend will use in order to get you off of the facts. So gentlemen, what I'm trying to explain to you, that do not think that you're going to have peace in your home if you keep letting her get away with it. You have to hold her feet to the fire and make her look at the facts. And when she gets emotional, just say, listen, cut that shit out. Don't try that with me, because you're going to get into your emotional state and then you're going to accuse me of then telling you that you're emotional. And then this whole discussion is going to go off the rails. So we could either take this conversation in a logical direction where you argue the facts, or you might as well just call me a misogynist or an asshole or controlling. Whatever you want to do it right now so we can finish the discussion. You want to do that, or you want to have a discussion, a real discussion that can help us move our relationship in the right direction? Which one would you prefer? And you hold that conversation in that direction. I know what she's going to say. Why are you going to be an asshole? Why you have to be so blah, blah, blah? Why you have to be that? Are we going to have a discussion or not? Because you're doing exactly what I told you would be doing right now. You're now accusing me of being an asshole. Where would you like me to take this conversation? You want to talk about me being an asshole? Or do you want to go back to the original discussion that we were having? You can have that conversation, my friends, and you can steer your relationship in the right direction, or you can let the female derail the argument. We, my friends, have to get back to that point where we have to show women that we're men and we are prepared to lead you in the right direction. We don't need the emotional parts of you to be in a discussion where it comes to serious things in life. We have given women this false sense of authority because the only weapon she tends to use is an emotional one.
This is very frustrating for a number of reasons. Firstly, it makes everything very slow. It's hard to make progress in conversations if women just use their emotions to hold that conversation hostage. She throws a tantrum, she gets upset, and at that point, the conversation has to stop while everybody waits for her to catch up emotionally. No, it's worse than that because they can't just wait. It's actually their role to help her catch up emotionally. Her emotions are everybody else's responsibility. And the other reason it sucks is because it means that our culture values truth demonstrably as less important than how a woman feels. Think about it. If the truth can wait, but a woman's emotions can't, then that's the underlying paradigm that we live in, that a woman's emotions are paramount. That's the top priority. Not facts, not truth, how a woman feels. That's more important, and that must be catered to. Think about this in your own life, in situations where there's mixed company. Would you ever feel comfortable just pushing past a woman's emotions? She's clearly upset about what's being spoken about, but you just ignore that? You just keep saying what you're saying anyway? We are so used to it, we don't even question this. We only ever move at a woman's pace.
I'm going to show you a discussion in the UK. So I'm talking to my American and Canadian audience right now. Interviews and discussions on air in the UK is significantly different than they are in America. I'm going to show you a discussion in the house from the UK right here, right? And I want you guys in America to think if you would see this happening in America. So the Amazon bosses squirm under questioning, and this seems to be a trade union congress in the UK. Let's have a listen. And this guy is questioning one of the females from Amazon.
It's such a great place to work. As you've said, that's what you hear time and time again from your team. Why have your team in Confronting gone on strike so much?
I think it's important to note that we absolutely support their right to do that.
That hasn't answered excuse me, obviously we've sat here for quite a while now. I feel like I might need to get lessons from you both at some point in how to not answer the question that was asked directly. If you're that good an employer that you've explained to us so far, why have your workers in Coventry gone on strike so much?
I think they're executing their rights as we absolutely would protect their ability to do. I've shared some data around that building about how employees are telling us it's a great place to work. What I would love to do is invite you, sir, to come.
You see, that is your typical American response. In America, then they would move on to the next question and say, well, I can see that you don't want to answer that question. Or it would be, well, we will actually come by and look at that, right? But hear how this gentleman press.
And see the building yourself.
I really apologise for interrupting you. My question was why. You haven't answered why. You've told me that, again, it's a great place to work and you've got all this data and I'd love to come and see what you do. Yes, but why? That's the one thing you haven't answered yet, which is the question I actually asked you. Why?
I think that's a good moment for me to, again, extend the invitation.
But it's a good moment for you to not... No, sorry, I'm really sorry. I'm going to really push this point.
Okay.
It's a great opportunity for you to not answer my question. If you are such a great place to work, and I'd like to congratulate you, said you won an award recently on being a great place to work. If you are that great a place to work, why have your workers in Coventry gone on strike so much?
Our employees have the right to join a trade union or not to join a trade union, and we totally respect that.
I'm pulling teeth at this point. Neither of you answered that question so far. I'll ask it once more.
Yeah.
I'll ask it once more and then I'll give up because I don't think I'm going to get an answer. Why have they gone on strike so much? What is the reason behind it? You talk to workers every day, you've told us, and that's what your teams do. So when you ask them, why are you going on strike? What's their answer back to you? Why are they striking?
They were demonstrating their right to support the trade union that they were a member of. Okay. Simply put.
Sorry. Supporting a trade union isn't a legal reason for people to go on strike. What was the legal reason that they went on strike as set out in the paperwork that needs to be supplied to the employer in the relevant notice period?
You mean the ballot for strike action?
Yes, that's right. What was the legal reason?
There are multiple scenarios over the recognition attempts that the GMB has made.
We're not talking about recognition. We're talking about the 37 days of industrial action at BHX4 in Coventry. Paperwork needs to be supplied to the employer that lists the reason for strike action. What was the reason given for strike action on those 37 days in answer to my colleague's question?
Mr. Morgan? Please repeat the question.
Oh, that's how it feels talking to a woman who does not want to stick to the facts. All right? That's what men have to deal with right there. Woo! I would have lost my shit. Listen, I would not have been that polite. That's why I guess that's why I'm not a politician.
Keeping her emotional comfort as our number one prime concern. And when we do witness men who hold truth above a woman's comfort in a conversation, it is fascinating to watch. It's like seeing a snow leopard or some other wild, rare animal out in nature. It is so unlikely to occur that when you're watching it, it's hard to look away.
Men are providers, so go do that job. Go learn a trade. Go do something.
Well, you said that that's all they're good for.
Yeah.
And what are you good for?
A lot of things.
Like?
I'm funny. I'm smart.
You haven't demonstrated that yet.
Okay, well, that's your opinion. I'm a musician. I dance.
You dance?
The list goes on and on.
What a great quality. You can dance. What do you bring to the table, though?
What do I bring to the table? Yeah. I'm smart. I'm funny. I'm attractive. I have talents.
I don't know if men are so useless that their only job is to be providing for you. It sounds like you're just a typified eater. Like, I don't know what you're really bringing to the table. You're just kind of consuming resources, right?
I mean, if you want to hear the answer that I could be domesticated and I can cook and clean and do all that, I can.
No, that's not what I'm asking. What I'm asking is what value are you bringing to society?
By being me.
By being you. I'm enough.
I am enough.
Okay.
I'm aware that there is criticism for this style of podcast, and people think, oh, they just bring women on to like own them, to be mean to them. People think it's like outrage farming, just like clickbaity stuff, but I'm not so sure. I think that there's more sophistication going on in these kinds of exchanges than people give them credit for. And I can completely understand why these types of shows took off and became so popular, because it's revolutionary. It's not something we've seen in our culture before, at least not in the mainstream. What you're seeing is women being spoken to like they are men. That's it. It's that simple, but it's so different to what we're used to. Excuse me, miss, you just said an opinion? Okay, explain it. Justify it. Defend it. Oh, you're upset? Irrelevant. The conversation continues. These are the typical standards that we apply to men in conversations, but lots of women cannot meet these standards. There are so many clips out there of women during these shows just like bursting into tears and walking off the set because they can't handle it anymore.
Let me say this really quick. I have obviously bitten off more than I can chew.
No, you're good.
No.
Oh, you're doing great. Don't worry about it. You're a legend. You're a legend. You came in guns blazing. You're doing great.
I tried. No, I really do appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Wait, we got to get through at least all your notes.
No.
Hold on. Just stay we'll get through your notes. I will fast track.
Can you at least leave the booze?
I'm leaving the booze. That's for you guys. No, I really appreciate you having me on.
I feel like that's a reasonable contribution.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on.
Wait, let me at least fast track.
No, I gotta
go. You got to go because...
Can this be a respectful quit? Like, thank you for everything.
Wait, you can't just leave.
I'm not crying. I'm tired. That's
You're
why.
Tired?
Yeah, I've been up since like 3 a.m.
Okay, but at least, look, you provided a lot of notes. Tell you what, I will...
That's why I'm getting emotional.
Hold on,
Like,
I will fast track...
This has been really great.
No, listen, but at least hear the offer. You got to at least hear the offer.
Respectfully.
I will
Thank
fast
you so
track.
much.
I will fast track your notes. I will fast... you said it was a rage quit?
It's not.
I think it was a rage quit.
Thank you so much.
I think it was a rage quit. I think you can't defend your worldview. You can't defend your worldview. I think you're a coward, to be honest. I think it's cowardly for you to quit.
It is so interesting to watch because for a lot of these women, this is the very first time that they have ever been made aware of their own privilege. They have lived a life where every single interaction they ever had only moved at the pace of their emotional comfort. It's always been so easy for them because they've always been catered to. I don't need to tell you guys, but that is not men's experience of this world. Unlike women, no one gives a shit how a man is feeling. Every single guy watching this video right now knows exactly what I'm talking about. You are a man. You think crying is going to get you out of something, help you avoid accountability? You think the world is going to stop just because you're having some emotions? No chance. You are a man. No one cares how you're feeling.
What's your advice to a guy with feelings?
Obviously you're entitled to your feelings. You're human. But have them, but don't show them. Yeah, just cry on your own. Cry by yourself.
All right, let's get real. Here are the facts. For this world to function, there must be reliability and predictability. If you make a commitment, it must be honored, otherwise everything collapses. Women have the privilege to avoid personal responsibility and make everything stop just because of their emotions. Men don't have that privilege because the fact is somebody needs to be steering the ship. So even if his inner world is completely chaotic and a mess and he's filled with inner turmoil, men know that they have to be on deck. They have to report for duty. Otherwise, the ship is going to crash.
That's a fact. Alexander, you are brilliant at explaining this, my friend. Every single man experiences this on a daily basis, usually from his girlfriend or wife, in the workplace, at the supermarket, at the gym. Every single interaction with a woman is that a man has to talk to her like a woman, but yet they want equality. You talk to me like a woman. Men cannot talk to women like men. And the thing is, women tend to want to act like a man, but when a man treats her like a man, then, oh, he's misogynist, he's this, he's aggressive, he's blah, blah, blah. Most women have no idea how men are because they've never had the full experience from a man. A physical equivalent would be a boxing match between a man and a woman. A man would never hit a woman with the same strength that he would hit a man, right? The second the man goes full force on a woman, they will say, that's not fair. How dare you hit a woman like that? You have to apply the same rules verbally, unfortunately. But the problem is when you are facing a woman, in a verbal confrontation, she tends to have the advantage because you can't say the things to a woman like she can say to you.
Hey, I'm on my period and I was craving an argument with my boyfriend. I poured myself a room temperature glass of water to hydrate my vocal cords because I'm about to lay it down. The first thing I did when he woke up was I brought up something that happened 6 years ago that still bothered me, and I never felt so refreshed and relieved after the argument.
Otherwise, you're an asshole. And a woman's greatest weapon is her mouth.
I'm just wondering if you're aware of how quickly you move to devaluation. Do you know that?
I think that I don't care how quickly I move to devaluation.
Whether you care about it or not, I just want to
Am I aware
see
that
if
sometimes
you're
I
aware
move quickly to devaluation? Yes.
But I'm also noticing how difficult it is to actually meet you. I notice even in the way I'm talking to you that it's very hard to get it right. Like when I try to say back to you what's going on, what I just heard, it's never right. And when you correct me, I can see why you're correcting me. I understand the nuance and where I missed the point.
That's very frustrating for me.
What
Yes,
I want to hear is, why is the moment where someone is not just right, why is that so devastating? That's
I don't know that it's devastating. I think it's...
See, you did it just then.
Right.
Devastating
Right.
is not quite the right word. And you're going to correct
Right.
her devastating, and you can't
Right.
see that devastating
That's okay.
might have like,
it is simply not devastating.
And women pushes that severely because she know that the man cannot confront her physically. So women want all of the actions of a man, and disgustingly so, the man cannot retaliate like she was a man. She can be the man to him. He can't do it in reverse. He has to still treat her like a woman. And that, ladies, is the world that we live in. But yet you want equality. Listen, man, I don't bring these shows to you guys and these lessons to you guys to put down women. We are in a stupidly critical stage of the relationship market. And unfortunately, I see the problem coming from one direction. I am trying to solve the problem. We have a problem in our society where our women are acting like men. Think about that shit. I am in my masculine. I need a man who can put me in my feminine. Just think about that statement. These are the words that are coming out of a female's mouth. She is admitting that she is the problem. Because, listen, man, and focus, ladies. If I ever uttered those words, I am in my feminine, girls, and I need a woman to put me in my masculine, you would laugh me to scorn. But it's okay for a woman to say, oh, I'm in my masculine. I have to operate in my masculine because these men aren't paying for me to be in my feminine. And then you come at me because I am trying to bring our women back into their feminine. I am trying to tell men how to deal with a masculine woman. It is the woman that is out of pocket. She has become a man. So don't come at me when I am telling you, ladies, you are the problem. So when you say to me, why you keep going after women? Why you keep going after women? Why you keep going after these women? Because it is the women that are out of pocket, not the men. And women are out of pocket two ways. They are more masculine, and then when they become mothers, they become single mothers. How do we solve the problem? I go to the source of the problem. Yes, I am hard on women, but they are the problem. You're creating the worst sons, and you have become the worst version of men to the point where the men don't want you. And I'm talking to my Western women, both white, black, Asian. I don't give a shit what color you are. You are all becoming way too masculine. Each and every single one of you have been groomed by the whole feminist push to become men. So when a man looks at you, it feels like he's looking back at another man.
A woman that's in her masculine energy, because she's in her head, because she's planning, this is a low-key stress response for a woman. And when a man is around a woman who's in her low-key stress response, it triggers it in him. It turns on his amygdala, and he very quickly has a bit of a defense subconsciously. He doesn't notice this, but there's something in him that's saying, something's going on here. I need to be on defense. And he views her as a competitor and not as a possible companion.
You're boisterous, confrontational, crass, rude. You have no idea that you're any of these things because the society have made it normal. But most men don't find Western women wife material. Sex material, fine. Knock you down because men will stick their dick in pretty much anything. In other words, that's no value to you. So when I come hard on the women, it's for that reason. If you don't change, you're the one that's going to lose, my friend, because your men have options. You don't. So, my friends, listen, I'm going to lock it off there. I'm going to put a link to this video in the description of this video. You can go over to Alexander Grace's channel and you can find this video because I think it's an excellent video for both males and females to watch. All right? So, my friends, until next time, hey, like the video on the way out, okay? And remember, whenever in doubt, always ask an older man. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.